What's happening, Pod Squad? Welcome in to another episode of Stripe It Like It's Hot that will either be hilariously great or epically terrible. I don't know which one, but it's going to be one or the other, especially if you're watching on YouTube. I'm recording this from my hotel room. I am nowhere near home. I'm about 8 hours to the west of home. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about why I'm here, and then I'm going to drop what I think is a very valuable piece of knowledge and wisdom that I've been given before, and I'm trying to demonstrate today, and I think is one of the most underrated things that we can do, not just as business people, but as people in general. So first and foremost, I am like literally on my way traveling 17 hours away. So an 8-hour drive plus a little layover and an 8-hour ferry ride. So we're on our way to go do a striping project on this remote island. It sounds really tropical and great. Apparently it's a beautiful island. I've never been. I'm going there tomorrow. Our ferry leaves in the morning. But we drove all day to get to this oceanside town today called Prince Rupert. Literally like right outside my hotel room, I can see the Pacific Ocean, which is cool. And then tomorrow morning, we're going to hop on the ferry, take an 8-hour ferry ride to this island called Haida. And over on this island, there's quite a few people that live there. Actually, my dad used to live there when he was younger. I've never been, but there is quite the little town there, a couple small towns, and there is one airport there as well. So the story goes, last year we sold this airport project on this island. So logistically, total pain in the butt. Like just to get a crew of 3 people there, you're looking at basically 17, 18 hours. So, 2 days of driving and or ferrying, hotel costs galore. We started this project last year, and it was supposed to take like probably 3-4 nights of work. It's a very quiet airport, but we had to bring this airport into compliance with airport specs that are part of their federal Canadian, airport specifications. And unfortunately, the weather could not have been worse. The guys were supposed to be there for 4 or 5 nights. They ended up spending over 2 weeks, basically close to 2.5 weeks. They didn't get the project done because it was raining so much. And, what little paint that they were able to get down, as we got photos in the spring, basically failed. So project went horrible. Now, thankfully, we're still going to do okay on the project component. But we made the decision this year that I was going to go myself. I don't spend a whole lot of time in the field, but I wanted to go because I have a lot of airport experience, and we want to make sure that we meet those specifications. It's going to have, an independent auditor there to make sure that everything's compliant. So I've been kind of ruminating on this project since it didn't go well since last October. So basically this has been in the works for 8-9 months. We haven't been paid a single thing from this client, justifiably so, because the work is not done. What work was done didn't exactly hold up. So they're being fantastic to deal with. Despite that, though, they know we're trying our best. They know that we ran into crazy weather problems. But the point is, and why I wanted to record this very brief podcast today, I keep referencing Matt in this podcast. So Matt, you've probably seen him if you've watched the YouTube before. You've seen him in some of the videos. He does all the editing of this. He would absolutely skewer me. He's probably going to when I send him this video and audio file anyways, because it's not good. But he's going to he would absolutely roast me if he saw how I had this set up. I'm going to try and describe it to you. So I'm in this hotel room. It's 10:21 at night. I see over there on the alarm clock. We traveled all day, myself and another guy, to try and finish this project. I'm dog tired. I actually started work at 6:30 in the morning because I had some things I had to get done first. Pulled into town at 8 p.m. here, got a quick bite to eat in the room. I am dog tired, but I made a commitment to myself that this podcast has to come out every week. And I also, not only did I tell myself it has to come out every week, I'm not going to throw crap together. So that's why at the beginning I said this will either be great or terrible. I'm hoping it's great. I refuse to just put out, junky episodes. I literally noticed today that Gary V, just released a 36-second podcast episode, which, props to him. I don't want to do that though. So my point of this episode is really simple. I'm going to share with you guys something that was taught to me, that I've heard consistently taught to myself through all of my mentors, both, ones I work with directly, but even some of the influential people that I look up to, your Ed Milet's, your Andy Frisella's, these people, they all preach the same thing, which is you will win at what you are trying to accomplish if you are ruthlessly consistent. You've probably heard this before. Like, you've heard if you're in any way involved in personal development, if you're in any way involved in business development, you have heard people talk about the importance of being consistent. Now, I've heard the same thing. My very first coach that I worked with was the epitome of consistency. Mike Claudio was, and still is to this day, just a ruthlessly consistent guy. If he has a plan, he does it almost to an extreme. Many people would say he's extreme. But he doesn't care because that's who he is. He knows that if he does the same thing every day, he will get the results that he's looking for if he follows the plan. My current mentor, Brian Hess, same thing. People who are consistent win. And Brian has demonstrated it with his daily morning show, which I honestly don't even know what episode it's on. I think it's in the 700s now. I should know. I listen to it all the time. He has put out an episode every single day, every single weekday for like over 2 years now. It's absolutely mind-boggling. Every day at 8 a.m. Eastern, he records, and it's just incredible. So now he has this proven track record of being consistent. So I was thinking about this myself today. It's now 10:24. I'm tired. This is the last thing I want to do. I'm literally recording this. I brought my podcast mic with me, right? So if you're watching on YouTube, you can see I've got the podcast mic set up. I brought that with me because we didn't have time to book a guest in last week. It's been a little bit crazy. So I can't do an interview with a guest, so I knew I needed to record. I didn't have time on Monday either, so now I'm recording this on Tuesday, and hopefully Matt can get it out in time for Wednesday, which is when we drop the weekly episode. I know he will, because this won't be too much editing to do in here other than, I don't know, Matt, try and make the lighting better or something. What's up, Pod Squad? This episode of the show is brought to you by our friends at Mighty Line Floor Tape. So, true story, our company started using Mighty Line. We found the product like half a year ago, 2023, we found it, and we started using it, and I was blown away. The product is incredible. And so many of us in the striping industry want to do interior striping, but we also know that interior striping on concrete usually does not work out very well. This is a fantastic solution. If you have customers that want safe walk lines or customized floor decals, check out their website on Mighty Line. It's incredible. They have an awesome portfolio of stuff. And if you've never tried the product before, head to the website, let them know that you got the info from the podcast, and they will actually send you a free sample box. Check it out, Mighty Line Floor Tape. We are so grateful for them to be sponsoring the podcast. I want nothing more than to not do this right now. But instead, I'm sitting here in my room. I've got an office rolling chair on the bottom. And on top of that, I've got this leather stool, which my phone is sitting on. My phone wouldn't sit up straight because it doesn't have like a stand. So it's literally sitting on edge. It's like 6 inches away from my knee. So if I bonk it, this video recording is over. And I'm holding it up with my GoPro mount to keep the phone up and down so you can get it in frame correctly. And the reason why I'm not using my GoPro is because I didn't bring my SD card. So I learned when I fired up the GoPro, I had this nice mount all set up, ready to go. I was going to record the video on the GoPro, which is a lot better than this. No SD card. I was really upset because I was like, I knew there was no SD card in there. Totally forgot to bring one. And the point is, like, at no point this whole day, this whole evening, have I wanted to sit down and record this podcast. And it got me thinking, this is not what I was going to record today, but it got me thinking as I sit in this unusually hot room because there's no air conditioning in here either, and I'm roasting. It's starting to really dawn on me, especially since I've started working with other business owners one-on-one and working with them to develop their businesses in our contract, that the people who are really successful, even in small business, are the ones who can stay consistent in whatever it is they have to do. And that's why I chose to do this, even though I'd rather just sit on the bed, eat pizza, watch Netflix. I'm doing it because I know that the people who are successful in whatever it is they want to do. And I don't just mean making tons of money. I just mean satisfaction, and true satisfaction comes from keeping the commitments we make to ourselves. Straight up, that is brutally hard for me. Like, I will let myself off the hook with a lot of things, whether it's, a routine in business, my personal health, all sorts of things. I'm easy to slip up that way. There's times where I'm ruthlessly consistent, and then other times I will let myself off the hook. So in business though, and this one, I want to tie this episode in here to you as an employee of a business, someone who's maybe thinking of starting a striping business, somebody who has a current, a pavement business, striping business, whatever it is. If you can stay ruthlessly consistent with the habits, the day-to-day things that you have to do in your business, and not let yourself off the hook, you will win in the long term. So one way that I've seen this in working with the businesses that I am working with one-on-one is the same struggle that I had when I started working with a coach was, man, I sometimes just wouldn't do what I was recommended to do. And I'd have to show up on my call every week, the next week, and basically say, yeah, I didn't do it because this. I didn't make a hiring video because, I didn't have time to edit it properly. I didn't make those calls that you wanted me to because I thought the person in the office that I wanted to talk to wasn't going to be there. And it's amazing how often and how easy it is for us as humans to just let ourselves off the hook and just do whatever we want to do. In business though, particularly with sales, man, there's so much to gain from doing the boring work over and over and over in order to produce the results. Like it's crazy to me how many business owners say they struggle in their pavement businesses with getting enough work. Like, I don't have enough work, or I can't seem to find the right opportunities. I'm busy with little jobs. I'm busy with residential, but I don't have any access to commercial work. That's what I'm trying to do. And I'm trying to get into commercial work, but it's so competitive. Everyone wants the big jobs. So then, the jobs are going for cheap. And we kind of convince ourselves that, it's not going to work for me. When in reality, if you're that business owner who would, as an example, does a lot of residential seal coating, but would love to get into commercial work, you have to consistently prospect, cold call, cold email, network, shake hands, kiss babies with people who make commercial parking lot decisions. There's no two ways about it. And so if your whole regimen of trying to gain commercial opportunities as a residential seal coater is, firing off the odd email, or days where you're really motivated, you'll make a couple calls and you're feeling good, but then you don't follow up, or you don't get the person at the business you're trying to connect with, so you just stop calling. Like, you cannot expect to get the results you want in your business unless you're ruthlessly consistent at the things that actually move the needle. So tonight, it's 10:30. I am so tired. We got to get up early, catch a boat in the morning for an 8-hour ferry ride. I knew I had to do this because it is the demonstration to myself and to people who actually enjoy this content that, yeah, it's going to suck sometimes. This is the last thing I want to do at 10:30 at night. But consistently doing the things that we know makes the difference, you can't possibly fail. Brian Hess, my mentor, says this all the time. You cannot consistently do the things that you're supposed to do and get a bad outcome. And I know it's so easy, especially if you're a business owner listening to this. It's so easy to just let yourself go, not do the things you're supposed to do. No one is holding us accountable for the most part. That's why it's so good to work with a business coach or someone to help you develop your business. They will keep you accountable to that. So for those times where you should be phoning people, where you should be making those calls, where you should be doing your follow-ups, whatever it is, do it. Because if you don't, you will never be able to actually prove to yourself that it does or doesn't work. You'll just say it doesn't work. And I'm telling you, I've seen it in my business too. This is honestly still something I struggle with. I have to stay consistent at the things that make the difference. So I hope you appreciate that. I hope that this is probably not the first time you've ever heard someone say be consistent, but I'm hoping that my agony of not being in bed right now. I go to bed early. I don't want to be awake at 10:30. I try to go to bed at like 9:30 or 10. But I'm hoping that someone listening to this goes, yeah, I wouldn't want to record a podcast in a hotel room. It's super hot in here after traveling, but he did it, so I should do the things that I want to do. That's what we all collectively need to do, is consistently do the things we need to do. And hopefully you have a good support network of people or someone, a mentor, a peer group, something that will help you. I'm rocking the Blacktop Banner t-shirt today. Like, Marvin's group is not huge. I think there's around 25 members in the group right now that I help him out with, along with Kyle Ashone. But like, that is another way where you can see the results from people who consistently put in the hard work. You know, I'm part of the One Team Network, Top Contractor School. That costs a lot of money, but I am surrounded by people who clearly demonstrate the results when you consistently put in the work. If you don't surround yourself, at least in some capacity, with those people, it's going to be so hard for you to it's going to be hard for you to be consistent. It's going to be easy for you to give up. So that's enough. That's it. I'm legit going to go to bed now so we can catch a boat in the morning. Let me know what you think of this. I appreciate everyone for listening. Shout out to Matt for editing this dimly lit hotel room with this janky, office chair stool. Matt, I'm going to take a picture of it so you can see it, buddy. All right, keep your stripes hot. I'll talk to you next week.